When you solve a system of equations using the substitution method, you need to remember that this is algebraically. So you're not going to be graphing anything. You're just going to be using your skills of solving equations to get to the answer. So you want to use this method when you have one of the equations have a letter isolated already, x or y, because you want to substitute whatever that letter is. So for example here, y represents 3x plus 2. So that means whenever you see the same letter in the other equation, so right here we have that y, we're going to substitute that expression of 3x plus 2 in there. So you want to check your equations. If one of them has x equals or y equals, the substitution method could be the one you want to use. Okay, so for this example, you're going to substitute 3x plus 2 into that y, and now you're going to have 7x minus 4 parentheses 3x plus 2 equals 7. And then if you notice, now you just have x on the left side. There's no other letter. So your goal here is to use your skills from Algebra 1 to solve for x. So PEMDAS helps. Remember PEMDAS. And also remember that whenever you have parentheses, you want to take care of distributing first. So right here, the 4 needs to be distributed into the 3x plus 2. However, this 4 is a negative 4. You always want to attach the symbol that's in the front with the number that follows. So therefore, the 7x is just by itself. Nothing's going to happen to it. So you just bring it down. And then now you multiply. So distribute, whenever you hear that word, that means you're going to multiply. And then when we multiply for negative 4 times 3, we get negative 12. And because 3 has the x, we're going to write negative 12x. Next, we multiply negative 4 times positive 2. So our answer will be negative 8. There's no x, so we don't write an x. Now, we just bring down whatever is left in the equation. We're going to keep going until we get x by itself. So now we're going to combine like terms. So between these three terms, these two are going to combine because they both have x's. So we combine 7 minus 12. You can pretty much draw a quick number line to yourself and understand that 7 is on the positive sides and minus 12 means you're going to go that way, 12 spaces. So you end up with a negative 5. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Correct. You can always use your calculator to check this, but keep in mind that there are times that you're not going to be allowed to use your calculator. So use any strategy, for example, drawing a number line, to help you visualize what happens when you combine numbers. So negative 5x is the answer from combining those two. Bring down negative 8, bring down positive 7, and now we want to get rid of the term that does not belong here. So as you notice, the x is attached to the negative 5, so we're going to leave that there. And now we need to get rid of the negative 8. So we're going to think of how can we cancel negative 8? How can we make it 0? So again, adding and subtracting cancels. So we're going to add 8, negative 8 plus 8 is 0, so it cancels. And then over here you have 7 plus 8. 7 plus 8 is going to give you 15. And then you bring down the negative 5x. All right, one more step and we'll be done finding the x. So here we want the x by itself. Right now it's multiplying negative 5 times x. So now we're going to divide by negative 5 each part. And 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. I know this seems like a lot of work, but you're almost done. Keep in mind that the solution is a point of intersection when you graph them. So when you do it algebraically, your answer has to look like a point. So far, we have the x. So our solution will have a negative 3 on the x. Now we're going to go back to our original equations, and we're going to pick one of those and solve for the missing number, the y. If you look at the two equations, the top equation is already y equals. So we can just use that one. We're going to go ahead and substitute inside the x the answer that we got over here. So now we're going to write y equals 3 times, and then our answer was -3. So we substitute that x by -3. And then we put plus 2. And then once again, we use PEMDAS. So multiplication, because we're using parentheses, so multiply 3 times -3. That's -9 plus 2. And then now you just combine like terms, because now we're adding. And that's -9 plus 2, which is -7. So your y value is -7. This means that if you were to graph these two equations, they would have crossed and intersected at the point -3, -7. And that's your solution.